Because if you can name it, you can tame it. And the more kids understand their emotions, the better equipped they are to be able to handle them when they come on. Hey there everybody, it's child therapist Mr. Stu with the Emotion Decoderator 5000. But before we go any further, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video so you don't miss out on the fun here at Mister Stu TV. This is a tool that I designed to help kids understand their emotions. Research tells us that if children can understand their emotions, even if they just know a name for their emotions, they're better able to regulate them when they come on. And the whole science is explained in Dr. Dan Siegel's book, The Whole Brain Child. But basically it goes like this. Imagine you go to a doctor, you share all of your symptoms, and the doctor looks back at you and says, "Oh, I've never heard of anything like that ever before." Your stress is going to go through the roof because you have gone to this doctor who's supposed to know what's going on, supposed to know how to handle it, and they don't know what's happening. That's how a child feels when they're feeling a big emotion and they don't know what the emotion is. It's adding more stress to the situation that's already stressful. But if you go to the doctor, you explain your symptoms, and they look at you and they say, "Oh, you have the flu, or you have strep throat, or you have pink eye, or even you have cancer." Well, then at least there's a name for it, and there's a system of how to handle that thing. That's how emotions work with kids, and that's what the Emotion Decoderator is all about. There's two different ways to use the Emotion Decoderator. I'll walk you through just how to get the Emotion Decoderator set up, and then I'll walk you through both ways of how to use it in real life. So you can see this is on my iPad here, and that's one of the ways that you can use the Emotion Decoderator. That's a way to set it up. You can either print off the Emotion Decoderator, or you can use something like an iPad and allow kids to fill it out there. If you're going to use paper, it's pretty simple. Print it off and give the child some things to be able to write and color with, and they can fill out the sheet. If you're using it on an iPad or a tablet, let me show you how it works on an iPad, and you can figure it out maybe for the specific tablet that you're using. This is a picture of the Decoderator. In your download pack, you got the PDFs and you got the pictures. You'll need the picture downloaded onto the iPad or tablet that you're wanting to use. Then all you do is pull up the picture and you click on the picture, and there's a button that says Edit. When you click Edit, you'll see this screen, and in the top right you'll see something that looks like the tip of a pen. If you click on that, then you're going into what's called markup mode, and that's where you can actually draw on the screen of the tablet on the picture of whatever it is that you're doing. So that's the mode that we'll be using to be able to write and draw on the Decoderator on the actual tablet. Once your student or once your child has this pulled up, they're ready to use the Decoderator. Now let me walk you through both of the ways to use the Decoderator. The first is if the child already knows the name of the emotion that they're feeling and they just want to know more about it. So let's say that they are feeling anxious. Then they could write the word anxious, and maybe they need some help spelling it, or maybe spelling just doesn't matter in this case, and that's okay, and the child just writes, maybe they write anxious. That's okay. In this task doesn't have to be about spelling. Now, if you want to make it part of your spelling lesson and you're learning how to write different emotions, great. But if this is just helping a child to de-escalate or helping a child to process their emotions, don't get caught up in the spelling of things. So once they've written the name of the emotion, then they can go through and they can invent an emoji that helps remind them of the emotion. Let's see what I would come up with here. That's what anxiety would look like to me. Then you can fill the box with designs or a picture, and you can come over to different colors. Let's see, anxiety to me would be much more green, and it is rough and sharp to me, and sometimes it feels like it's spiraling. So that's what anxiety would look like to me. then you can come down and you can write some things that remind you of the emotion. And it can be anything, whatever it might be. For the song, I think of the song We Don't Talk About Bruno, because the family was so anxious about what Bruno might do. We don't talk about Bruno. For an animal, I think of a bird. Let's think of what bird would be the most anxious. Maybe like a tiny little robin that's just always nervous. It's always got some of that anxiety. And I already told you the color for me would be green. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but for me, anxiety has always been just kind of this green color. And then for a movie that causes me anxiety is probably Saw. Now, it might not be a kid's movie, but that's how I feel. And remember, that's what this sheet is all about. It's not about right answers, wrong answers, comparing answers. You can talk about differences and similarities with your class or with several of your children together, but this is all about how it feels to the child. There aren't correct answers. It's just however it feels to them. Do you feel this way often? I don't feel anxious very often. I used to, but not anymore. Do you remember a time you felt this way? Yes, I do. The other night there was a storm, a tornado, and the sirens were going off, and it was a little scary. I felt pretty anxious about it. Then over here, there at the bottom, there is a scale. How much do you like feeling this way? On a scale from 1 to 10, if 1 is not much at all and 10 is I love feeling this way, anxiety is not fun for me, but sometimes it can be motivating. So I'd say like a 2 or a 3. And again, there's no right or wrong answers. Kids can fill this out however they like. Now, you have a great sheet to be able to discuss the emotion with the child, how that emotion feels, times they felt the emotion, times they see others feel the emotion. You can have a discussion about how Timmy has felt anxiety before and how Shamika has felt anxiety before, and they can talk to each other about how it feels to them, and it can be a discussion, or it can be a one-on-one activity, or it can just be an activity for the child to process in their mind. So that's one way to use the emotion decoderator. If the child already knows the emotion, or if you want to have a discussion about a specific emotion, that's one way to do it. Here's the other way. The other way is if the child does not know what emotion it is that they're feeling. I'm going to cancel this. Okay. Let's revert back to the original. We'll pretend that we are starting anew, and this, again, I've pulled up the decoderator, I've put it in markup mode, we're good to go. The second way to use the decoderator is if the child does not know the name of the emotion. This might be the more important reason to use the decoderator. Again, if children can name their emotions and understand their emotions, they can de-stress about emotions and be better able to handle those emotions. So if a child is feeling an emotion and they don't know what emotion it is they're feeling, you can use the decoderator for that too. All you have to do is the same as what we just talked about, but you skip the part right here where you write the name of the emotion. You just don't write the name. Skip it. Move on down and start filling out the rest of the sheet. Kids can bounce around. They can start with the emoji. They can start with how much do you like feeling this way, whatever it might be. And let's see if we can figure out this emotion together and pretend that a child is filling it out. Let's see, how much do you like feeling this way? I like feeling this emotion at about a 3. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. An emoji that helps remind me of the emotion. Let's see. I would do this. Ooh, that's my emoji. Then I want to fill the box with designs or a picture or colors. And you know what? I'm going to color it. Let's see. A color that reminds me of this emotion is red. Red. Do I feel this way often? No. Yes, I can remember a time I felt this way. I felt this way when I lost at Minecraft or I lost at Fortnite, whatever it might be. An animal that reminds me of this emotion. My animal would be a bull. That's the one. And then a movie that reminds me of this emotion. Probably Inside Out. Inside Out reminds me of how this emotion feels. And a song. Can I think of a song? The only thing that's popping in my head is anything by Taylor Swift about an ex. Taylor Swift ex. So now, here's what you can do. You've got all of this information that the child has now given you about this emotion that they're feeling, but they don't know the name of it. What you can do is talk with the child about this emotion. Ask them about the choices they made. Ask them about the answers that they gave. And once you've processed it all, you can tell them what the name of the emotion is. It sounds like you're feeling angry. Oh, that's what that emotion is called. Angry, or frustrated, or anxious, or scared, or sad, or excited, or anticipation, or whatever the emotion might be. After they've filled it out, you can help them name it. Because if you can name it, you can tame it. And the more kids understand their emotions, the better equipped they are to be able to handle them when they come on. Hopefully this will turn into a fun activity for you and your students or you and your children, and you can process emotions and learn more about how they feel to you, to the child, to your family, to your classroom, and you'll have great discussion about all of these things. Thanks so much for downloading. I can't wait to hear how you use it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
It's a